Welcome to Luxuriously Poor, and I hope you will watch this to the very end. Okay, in our bowl, we're going to put 2 cups of the starter, a half a cup of water, and 2.5 cups of flour. And we're going to mix it all together really well, and we're just going to let it sit. And we may, stretch it out a little bit, but for the most part, we're just going to kind of let it sit and relax and do its thing. Okay, this is what it looks like here. Looks like a big blob of dough. I'm going to put a plate over this. I'm going to do what I always do with my dough. I stretch and pull several times. I will stretch and pull my dough every 30, 40 minutes. This is a dough that don't be in any big hurry thinking it's going to be ready within an hour or two. Supposedly, this types of doughs take a long time. Okay, I'm going to do what they call some stretches, and I was trying to do it here, and I noticed something about this dough. It's not stretchy. When you try to pull it, it falls apart. So that tells me that I need to work it a little more when I first put it into the bowl. Okay? Because now that I'm working it, wetting my hands and working it, it is becoming more stretchy, you see, instead of just breaking. This, to me, is not the end of the world if this doesn't work for me, because I already have a wonderful loaf of bread that I make. I wanted to do this, and I'm going to let this sit for a while and come back and do this again. Sorry for the loud noise. I keep hitting this plate. I wanted to do this because I had read, like I said, sourdough, which is fermented, is better for you than just regular bread. And I said, well, I'm going to try this. Now, there's 2 thoughts of process behind this. Because I have heard of Amish people making this what's called sourdough bread. But they put yeast in it. Now, they're getting the fermentation in there, in their flour. They are. They're getting the fermentation in there. They're doing it for the sourdough taste. I don't care for the sourdough taste. It becomes stronger and stronger as it becomes older. And I don't care for that. And it doesn't rise up as high either. I didn't think it did. After a while, I don't remember really well, but it just didn't seem to be as high of a loaf. And it became very tangy. Now, some people like that flavor. I necessarily wasn't one of them. But I did like it in pancakes. But then again, I put real maple syrup over pancakes, so that really does give it sweetness. And I don't want to be putting sugar in my dough. Okay? So I already have a wonderful rustic loaf. But I'm going to keep working at this and see what happens. I do feel that this, I should have, I guess, kneaded it a little bit in the beginning when I first did it, instead of just mixing it, maybe kneading it with my hands in a little water. But that's okay. It's not too late to keep trying. And I'm not going to give up yet. I mean, I've seen a guy who put his in the refrigerator all night to get it to proof for the next day. So we'll see. I'm learning, and this will help you learn too. But if you're looking for a really good loaf of bread, go back and I mean, it's nothing but a few cups of flour, water, salt, and yeast, and that's it. Okay, I moved this dough to a smaller bowl because the other one was way too big. And sometimes when you use too big of a bowl, it really doesn't poof up or, rise like it should. But I'm going to go ahead and shape this to make a loaf of bread. And we'll take it from there and see what happens. Okay, we're going to take this out of this bowl now. It seems to have risen a little bit here. It's pretty good size. And we're going to knead it and shape it and put it into our loaf pan and take it from there and see what happens. Let's get it out here on the countertop and work at it a little bit. It's kind of sticky, but sticky's kind of what I call normal. Just put a little bit of flour and everything. My biggest concern with this whole loaf of bread is it's going to be so sour, I won't like it. I do not like sourdough breads. This is one of the reasons I quit doing this before. But I thought maybe if I used the recipe from King Arthur, being that you added flour for a couple of days to make your bread, I thought it might be less sour. I don't know. So we're going to find out, though, because if it doesn't, I will be chucking this. Like I said, I do not like sourdough bread. Okay, I proofed it and everything, put it in the oven and baked it, took it out, sliced it, thought I had my camera on, but I didn't. And so I can't show you the end product, but I can tell you right now, I would never make this bread again. It is way too sour. Using the King Arthur recipe didn't change anything. It rises, makes a loaf of bread, but I wouldn't eat it. I gave it to my chickens. So call this a forget it loaf of bread. I would never make it again. Now I remember why I quit making sourdough bread in the beginning. Well, sorry I didn't have my camera on.